doing first? Should I start sharing my screen? Or
Not
do I
yet.
have to wait?
Hello, everybody, and thank you so much for joining us tonight. My name is Tiffany Hall, and we are here live to do our January BIA code pudding. Like I said, Tiffany Hall here. I am an alumni of the TripleTen software engineering program. I'm a full stack engineer and product owner at Scholastic Inc., the world's largest publisher of children's books and a powerhouse in the digital education space, too. Also, one of the fun things I enjoy doing is hosting our code jams and code puddings. And tonight, you've joined for a really good one. They are going to be positively amazing for the presentation tonight. As you can see, we've got lots of our students that joined with us. We've got 3 teams that are going to show us what they have been working from. And they come from our Business Intelligence Analytics program here at TripleTen, and they are all over the US coast to coast. So what is a code pudding? You might be wondering. If you're new to this space and you're not quite sure what a code pudding might be, let's take a minute and talk about that. So at TripleTen, it's a friendly competition that occurs for our students during their normal coursework. These competitions, though, are super short competitions where we get a group of students together and they start putting in the work. Putting in, pudding. Okay. So they start putting in the work and they are going to show us the work they've been doing. Now, we have given them a set of data to kind of pore over, and they are going to put meaning to all of this data. And as many of you know, in my past life, I was a special ed teacher. And so data is like my second love language. So to be able to see all of the students tonight putting meaning to hard data is so exciting. So you guys are joining on a really great one tonight. Like I said, we've got 2 parts to our code pudding. We've got the data and the presentation. So last week, the participants that joined were divided into teams and we challenged them to create visual essays over our provided data sets. The teams had 5 days to make their projects and get their presentations together. So today, the teams are going to show their projects, what they've been working on. And then next week, the judges are going to be reviewing them. They will be evaluating on both the data and the presentation. So very exciting news. All of our results are going to be posted on Discord February 14th and our social media channels as well. If you are a student of ours, you can vote for your favorite project of the evening in our Discord channels. You'll see a poll there afterwards. If you're not a student of ours just yet, then you can vote down below in the lovely little live chat or in the comments if you're rewatching this a little bit later, okay? Just write down the name of your favorite team in the comment section and your vote will be counted. So let's go ahead and get started tonight. I want to wish all of them a good luck. I'm very excited to start with our Tailblazers. Great name. Our Tailblazers. And that team is Charu Gupta and Anusha Mudandi. So take it away, ladies. All right, Anusha, we see your screen. You're ready to go.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. We are the team Tailblazers. I myself, Anusha, and my teammate Charu is here. And our project name is Animal Care and Control Adopted Animals. So every year, thousands of animals wait in shelters for their forever homes. And today we are uncovering crucial insights to provide, try to boost their, concept of like chances of adopting. We have like analyzed more than 10,000 of adoption records to find out vital questions, to find out answer for vital questions like which animals get adopted fastest, how does impact adoption rates? Are there seasonal patterns in adoption trends? Let's dive deep into the analysis. So here in this first dashboard, we have like animal type here. On the y-axis, we have animal count, and on the x-axis, you can see the species name. So cat count is more and followed by dog. These are the dominant species which occupy most of the shelter spaces, followed by a very less number of house rabbit and rat. Coming to the animal gender, there isn't much difference between the male and female population. Very small amount number of unidentified gender is there. And coming to the animals by age group, we have grouped them into four groups based on their age. Um, Less than 1 year is puppies and kittens, and then 1 to 3 is young, and then 3 to 7 years between is adult, and then above 7 years is seniors. And we have like taken the adoption shelter stay of the duration of the animals to check which age group gets adopted fastest. The less number of the days spent in shelter means the more fastest the animals gets adopted. And coming to the intake analysis, we have like the data is very limited. We have the data from 2017 to 19, and peak trend is at around 2018 with more than 4,000 of animal intake, and significantly dropped down in 2019. And coming to the intake reason, the main reason of intake is stray animals, followed by incompatible with owner lifestyle and litter relinquishment, and there are various other reasons of intake. And understanding this analysis is like crucial uh, to find out like what type of what are the reasons of intake, and these insights is like help shelters to optimize their care and control. So from here, Charu will walk you through with our further findings. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Anusha. Hello, everyone. So this is a popularity dashboard showing the most popular species, the popular color, and the popular breed. We try to find out the popular species on the basis of the animal count. We find out the cat is the most popular species, followed by the dog and the other species. Then comes the popular color. The most popular color is the black color, followed by the black and white and the other colors. Then the popular breed, among the proper breed, we find out the most popular breed was a domestic short hair cat. Anusha, next slide, please. This is a line chart showing the adoption trend by month. We try to take the adoption trend on the basis of the movement date and the number of count of animals. We see that the June, July, and August, they are the peak seasons for the adoption. So our adoption is like affected by the seasonal changes. Then comes the breed by days until adoption. We try to calculate the number of days. Till the time animal stays in the shelter. The lesser the number of days animal stays in the shelter, the more popular it is. We find out the most popular breed is a domestic medium cat, domestic medium cat. And if we scroll down to the bottom, we see the pit bull. It stays for the average maximum number of days in the shelter, so that it is the least popular breed. Then comes the conclusion. To address seasonal fluctuation in adoption rate, shelters should improve and implement promotional campaigns during the slower months to maintain inconsistency. Additionally, leveraging the predictive data analysis can help to forecast trends, optimize shelter space, reduce shelter stays, ultimately improving additional adoption outcomes. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, that's wonderful. I'm very encouraged to hear, and so is my cat, that cats are the number one beating the dogs. Sharkbait's a big fan of that. But more importantly, let's talk about your project. I really enjoy the visuals that you guys created. And so I'm just wondering, how do you guys as a team decide on what visual is best for the data that you're trying to display?
We just wanted to keep it simple, Tiffany, not to make it over complicated by, presenting various visuals. So I hope it conveyed the message, what we are trying to convey.
Yeah, I think so. I think there's a lot of information that you guys were able to put in a very compact kind of grouping of different data displays. What was both of you guys' either one can answer, but what was your favorite part to create in all of this?
Do you want to answer?
The you can say everything was our favorite. Yeah.
Everything is your favorite? Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
Most
So then what was
mostly
something that
we
was maybe
will
surprising? Was there anything
uh,
very surprising about the adoption data?
Uh,
yes,
it was a limited data, you can say. So yeah.
Yeah.
surprising. I mean, like we have never looked into like how this adoption, is really important. Like this is like first step. Oh, then we were like, okay, that's why the logo is adopt, don't shop. So this is like an eye opening. Maybe we will like become a volunteers or like
Oh.
something people to educate other people who were like to buy a dog. Then we were like, okay, it's just take a look and it's better to adopt rather than buying. They really need a home, and shelters are like overcrowded, and
Mhm.
adoption is really it's important.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I hope that those who are watching will certainly take your data into consideration. I really appreciate the extra effort you guys put into some of the differentiated data displays, as well as the really fun dog border that was walking across the screen. So, all right, that is our first team of the evening, setting the bar very high. That is Tailblazers. Tailblazers with Charu Gupta and Anusha Madundi. Thank you very much. And the next group that is going to be presenting is the passionate analysts. And that group is Johnny Sue, Christy Murray, and Aaron Davenport. Take it away.
Okay. Good evening, everybody. We're the passionate analysts. We work with the Animal Care and Control Adopted Animals dataset, and we're excited to share our findings with you and explore ways to increase adoption rates together. We analyzed data from the Bloomington Animal Shelter from 2017 to 2020, focusing on lengths of stay, movement types like adoption and foster care, and reasons for returns. By uncovering key trends, we aim to provide insights that help increase permanent adoptions. These findings are valuable to both potential adopters and shelter management, as they highlight factors influencing an animal's time in the shelter and suggest ways to improve adoption rates. Now let's dive into the section I worked on, and that's the length of stay analysis. For this portion, I examined the average length of stay across species, age, breed, and overall animal counts to identify key trends. At the top left, we have the top 5 species by the average length of stay. As expected, cats and dogs make up most of the population and have similar average stays. House rabbits tend to stay a little longer, likely due to the lower demand and their specific care needs. Guinea pigs and rats, on the other hand, have shorter stays as they're small, require less maintenance, and are appealing to first-time pet owners. So looking at the age chart in the top right, we see that younger animals are adopted more quickly, likely due to people looking for longer-term companions. Meanwhile, older pets tend to stay longer, likely due to concerns about health and shorter lifespans. To improve adoption rates, shelters could highlight the benefits of adopting older pets, such as their calmer temperament. Next, we look at the top breeds in the shelters. Labrador retrievers, lab mixes, and medium hair cats tend to have the shortest stays. For dogs, this is likely due to their popularity and friendly nature, while medium hair cats may benefit from higher demand compared to other coat types. On the other hand, pit bulls and beagles experience longer stays, likely due to misconceptions about pit bulls and the higher energy need of beagles. Targeted education and outreach could help change perceptions and improve adoption rates for these breeds. And lastly, we look at the animal counts by the length of stay, and we have good news. Nearly half of the animals are adopted within a month, and most find homes within the first couple of months. However, there are extended stays, often older and special needs animals, and they could benefit from additional promotion and tailored outreach to find their forever homes. And with these insights in mind, I'll pass it over to Aaron to discuss the next section.
For my section, I covered movement type. So this is pretty much what happened to the animals once they got to the shelter, whether they were adopted, fostered, or reclaimed. For movement and breed, the name this shows that domestic short hairs are adopted the most frequently. Hound mixes and Chihuahuas are some of the least adopted animals. And an interesting insight is that the pit bull are adopted and reclaimed at a slightly higher rate than a Labrador Retriever mix. For movement in species, this shows that dogs and cats lead the way for adoptions and fosters, but this shows that dogs have a significantly higher reclaim rate than cats. This could mean that dog owners could have second thoughts when putting their animals up for adoption. For movement and sex, this shows that no matter the sex of the animal, they're still likely to get adopted or fostered or even reclaimed by their owners. Males are a little bit slightly higher to be reclaimed by their owners, while females are a little bit more likely to be put into foster care. For movement and age, this shows that animals that are less than 1 year or at least 1 year old are more likely to be adopted or fostered by pet owners. An interesting insight is that even though 2- and 3-year-old animals are less likely to be adopted, compared to an animal that's less than a year old, they are more likely to be reclaimed by their original owner. And that finishes up my part, and I'll pass it over to Christy.
My portion of the analysis is focused on reasons that animals will return to the shelter. The top 2 reasons were strays and incompatibility with owner lifestyle. So my analysis focused on those 2. The stray category knocked it out of the park with 93% of all returns. Next, I specifically looked at the demographics, the age, sex, breed, and species, and compared those 2 categories to each demographic. Starting in the top left corner, we've got age, and as you can see, the top 2 reasons for being returned show that most animals are 1 year or younger. This is likely due to the difficulty and expense in caring for young animals. In sex, I discovered that males and females are basically even Steven. And although it doesn't signify an influence on choice, pet adopters should still have their pets spayed and neutered to help control the pet and shelter populations. As far as breed, I found that the domestic short hairs dominated both categories. But another interesting observation here is that both the French Bulldog and the Labrador Retriever, which are the 2 most popular breeds in America, have also placed in the top 10. So this indicates that people are choosing animals based on popularity rather than fit between owner and animal. And finally, I analyzed species and found that cats make up the majority of the stray category, but dogs are more than double the number of cats in the incompatibility with owner lifestyle category, which possibly leads to the conclusions that cats may be easier to care for than dogs. And with that, I will transition to the conclusion and recommendations portion of our analysis. I'll begin with length of stay. Most animals are moved within the first couple of months, so we need to focus more on animals with longer stays, particularly house rabbits, older animals, and breeds like pit bulls and beagles. Recommendation: breed-specific marketing and targeted programs which could boost adoptions by dispelling myths and promoting overlooked pets. Next, I'll move on to movement type. Domestic short hairs and cats and dogs under a year both make up the most adopted and fostered animals. In addition, it seems that older animals are adopted less, just that. Possible fix, though, is offer a discounted rate for older animals, as well as gift-free toys and beds for their new homes. And finally, I will look at the reason animals are returned to the shelter. The top reason for returning was strays, totaling approximately 93%, which is a very large majority. So And out of that category, the majority were male domestic short-hair breed cats that were less than 1 year old. Our recommendation is that adoption events to educate the public on controlling the stray cat populations using methods such as trap, neuter, and release, the feeding station management, and other deterrents. Hopefully, educated adopters are less likely to release their pets as strays. Overall, our recommendation is to reduce length of stay, increase permanent adoptions, and prevent returns by having staff guide adopters in choosing pets that align with their lifestyle, including activity level, home environment, family dynamics, experience, and time commitment to ensure permanent, successful adoptions. And with that, the caution analysts say thank you.
All right, that was great. I'm really disappointed that nowhere in either team's data set so far has had any information on the return rate of goldfish that are being set for adoption. So I just would want to highlight that kind of failure in the data. So now that we've highlighted that, let's talk to the team about how was working together. Was this the first time that you three had worked together on a project before?
Yes, it sure was. Yes, it was the very first time, which was great because, during TripleTen, you kind of were a lone ranger at times. So it was a lot of fun to meet other students and be able to bounce ideas off of them. And I felt that it went very smoothly. Everybody really divided the work up evenly, and everybody made all the meetings, and we're very excited about the whole situation. So I think it went very, very well.
Fantastic. And so let's see who else we got. Johnny, are you in a different time zone than the others? And if so, how was it kind of connecting through different time zones?
I'm in the Pacific, so I actually am like the earliest, so it's more on them. They had to like stay up late for our meeting, so thank you. Shout out to them.
And yeah, that's a real thing, right? I mean, I know that like for one example, we have a stand-up call that was 7 a.m. for my team that I currently work on. And then one of our teammates moved to Washington. So we had to change our stand-up to an hour later because 6 a.m. is just a little early for work. How did you guys navigate any of the challenges? Did you guys get on calls all the time, or were you guys specifically just working through kind of those asynchronous methods? Aaron, you want to give it a shot?
I was going to say that we pretty much talked out any possible problems. We discussed things, and then we had several meetings just to go over the data and see where everybody's head was and pretty much how we were doing with the process. So it was pretty smooth.
Fantastic. And overall, was the data what you guys were hoping? I guess that's a weird question. Maybe in the BIA world, the data is never what you're hoping, right? And you're just trying to make sense of it all. Why don't you help me make sense of that? Are you hoping for a specific thing, or are you just hoping you can get meaning from it as somebody who didn't come from the BIA program?
I think that we basically just looked over, we kept an open mind. I work at a local rescue shelter as well, so we kind of had a little background, but we kept an open mind and really dived into the data and then, went from there, because I think it's important, that we don't have, to keep an open mind and because we all have our own opinions possibly going in. So we kept an open mind.
Fantastic. Well, that was a wonderful presentation. Thank you guys very much. Again, that is the passionate analysts with Johnny Siu, Christy Murray, and Aaron Davenport. Okay, so that brings us to our last group of the night. So our last group of the night is the Data Dogs. I'm loving all of these team names so much. The Data Dogs, which is Brittany Krogsty, Ruth Timas, and Patrick Valera. Take it away, Data Dogs. Okay, nobody's sharing and everybody's on mute.
Sorry. Brittany, can you share, or can someone share their screen, please? Also, I just want to apologize for getting to the stream a little late. I am currently at work and I'm on break, so at least I was
You're
able to
doing an
get in here,
amazing
right?
job. I'm happy you're here. So is everybody
hmm
else. We'll make it work, right?
hmm All right. So, hello everybody. We are the Data Dogs, consisting of Brittany Krogsty, Ruth Timas, and I am Patrick Valera. And this is our presentation, The Dog Breed for You, an Analysis. And so what we did was we compiled the data, 97 different dog breeds. We took different characteristics about the dog, such as their height, their weight, how long they typically live to become, their playfulness, their coat length, their trainability, and drooling, barking, a bunch of different characteristics. We wanted to see which households would get whatever dog they wanted to get. And we were able to divide these households into singles, double income, no kids, families with babies and toddlers, families with elementary students, families with teenagers, and empty nesters. And our question was, which dog breed would be the best fit for each household? And so I will pass it off to Ruth, and she will get started on our analysis.
Yes, thank you. We took all the data that was given to us, and we look at the good with stranger, good with dog, playfulness, and we average the score, and we subtracted the negative, which we put as the growth, grooming, shedding, and good with kids and barking. Those are the negative. You might ask what the negative and positive means. The positive means that it's suggesting the breed that is social, friendly, and playful, um, with the suitable for single family. And the negative, which has the grooming and shedding and barking, it suggests that some of these breeds might require more high maintenance, and it could be noisy and bring concern for a single family or single individual. The top five, we subtract the negative and the positive, and it brings us the top five of the score, which is the French Bulldog. And if you click on the top Bulldog, you can see our filter working there. And it also shows the life expectancy that goes up to 12, 10 to 12 years old. And the the female and male, the the s- the high is, it's all the same, so there's no difference on the highest. And also it suggests that some of this breed, it's the high, it require high maintenance, and the axis, you can scroll a little lower so we can all see the score based on the traits. Next slide. The next slide, it's all about which breed it's good for double income and no kids. And the positive is the meaning is all the data that has the energy, playfulness, trainability, good with other dogs, and good with stranger. And the negative is the barking, drooling, and shedding. The bar chart ranks the highest score on the can you bring the picture a little lower so I can see? On the Boston Terrier, those are the highest score right there. And it also shows that those are the double income, no kids lifestyle. It fits them better. And it shows also that those are the lifestyle the lifestyle expectancy goes to 11 to 13 years. And the female and male, the height as are the same, and it goes up to 17 inches. They are the best for apartment living, low maintenance, and easy to train. All this research and all this data that we put together, it was given to us in the visualization and the filter that we used. The next slide, please. Thank you. The next slide also focused to answer our questions, which breed would be ideal to the family and the babe with babies and toddlers. The positive is focusing on the playfulness, good with children, protectiveness, and we subtract that with the negative, which is the grooming, shedding, and barking. The score gave us the top 5. In the top 5, the name is all listed. The Boston Terrier, French Bulldog, it's all listed in there. And in the top 5 of those 5, it's the Whippet. The highest score comes to the Whippet dog. They're higher breed, but they also higher and better trainable dog. They're very friendly dog and require low maintenance and very independent dog. It's the life expectancy goes up to 12 to 15 years, and the height goes up to 22 inches. And if you click on the filter, you can see the filter change by the dog. Those 5 top dogs, you can see the filter change by the dog. I can pass it along to Bree, and Bree will go over the next slide.
Hi, so I'll be going over families with elementary aged children. The positives that we looked at were good with children, trainability, and energy. And the negatives that we looked at were shedding, drooling, and barking. This data set actually had 8 that were all the same. We have the Whippet and the Poodle miniature, the Couton de Tulier, the Nova Scotia Duck Tolling Retriever, the Australian Shepherd, the Boston Terrier, the Bichon Frise, and the American Hairless Terrier. Next, we looked at categories for families with middle schoolers and teens. The positives, we have good with children, good with strangers, playfulness. The negatives, we had drooling, shedding, and barking. And we subtracted the negatives from the positive. And the top breed was the Couton de Tulier, as well as the Boston Terrier. And last, we looked at some recommendations for empty nesters. That we looked at with good with other dogs, good with strangers, trainability, and then the negatives we looked at shedding, energy, and barking. And the top dog was the Couton de Tulier again, and I will pass back to Patrick for our recommendations.
All right, thank you, Brittany. So our recommendations, if you are a single family home, a French Bulldog would be best. If you are a double income with no kids, the Boston Terrier would be best. Families with babies and toddlers, we saw Whippet would be best. And families with elementary students, Australian Shepherd. As if you remember, the families with elementary students, that was the one with 8 different dogs that were tied with the same score. We decided to go with Australian Shepherd because of their high energy and the activeness of kids that are in elementary school. And then families with teenagers, the Coton de Tuliar was our top recommendation. And empty nesters, we recommend the Golden Retriever just because of their longevity and health and their energy, playfulness, and their height. And thank you. That was our presentation. If you were wondering what those dogs were from the beginning, those were actually all of our dogs. So Brittany's 2 dogs were in the previous slide. It was Waffles and Oreo. And then mine was down at the bottom left. Her name is Sky, and Ruth's dog on the bottom right. That was it Lena, I believe?
Mina with the M.
Mina
Mina.
with an M. There we go. Yeah, thank you guys for attending.
Oh, I love that. That's wonderful to see everybody's puppies. I had a Boston Terrier, and I can tell you that they were great when I was a double income with no kids, and then passed it along to my empty nester father, who used to take it to the river all the time. So can confirm. Oh, look, and Johnny brought his dog.
Hmm.
This is my favorite part about video. It's just to be able to see everyone's pets. All right, so let's talk to the team. So, in terms of data, you guys had some really cool presentation things where you guys were clicking on them and then the filters are doing other things in other parts. Is that something that you guys learn in the TripleTen program, or is that something that you guys had to go out and figure out on your own? Like, pretty snazzy.
I know I learned it during the TripleTen program, but it's also just playing around with it. So like when I first started on Tableau, like I felt like I had no idea what I was doing. And then the more practice I got with it, the more I tried different things. And I'm just like, oh, okay, so this is what this does, this is what that does. Um, I can't remember what sprint it was, but I'm pretty sure they did teach it.
Oh,
5.
Sprint 5, Brittany
Oh,
says.
sprint 5.
Yeah, it was Sprint 5. I just went through it, so that's why I know.
Okay.
Top of mind. Brittany, how does that compare with in terms of like, that's a great question. In terms of learning what you need for the actual projects that we're challenging you guys with, right?
Yeah, so there was a lot of things, and I know for me personally, when I was doing some of the graphs that I pulled from the sprint in order to be able to use for this project, it was very helpful. I I originally, when I was starting to look at it, I actually went straight to Excel first because that's the one that I'm the most comfortable with. And then Ruth was like, "Hey, you can use Tableau for this." I was like, "Oh yeah, I guess we could through a calculated field." And so we were able to just go straight to Tableau for that, and that was really helpful for that.
It was really neat. In the YouTube, Johnny, I just want you to know that in the YouTube chat, everyone's a big fan of your dog. So she's well on her way to stardom. Her way? Her way. Well on her way to stardom. Um, One other question I wanted to ask about the pieces that you guys were working through is really like you guys took a different take on the same data set than the others. And so I'm curious about the kind of team conversation around how did you guys look at this data and think, you know what, we're going to split it up into what pet would be, what dog breed would be the best for which family? What was that conversation like?
Initially, we decided on one question. Um, I had a different question. I did my project in two different question, and then when I came back, I find out that the question that I worked on, it was incorrect.
Okay.
It wasn't the question. So then I decided, you know what? This can be fixed. It's just the question and visualization that was all wrong. So I switched the visuals, I switched the questions, and I worked with the team. So,
Fantastic.
and the team had the good questions and visuals. Everything was done, so I had to merge.
Yeah, you guys really narrowed in on
Yeah.
a really specific sect of the data and asked some real interesting questions just with that super narrow lens. And I thought that was really great. I could see a real moment where this information would be super useful, obviously, to like business stakeholders or even in the challenges that we do, right? Working with some of the engineering teams to develop like a quiz, like a little TripleTen quiz. What dog is the best dog for your family? So super interesting. Do you guys as a team, have you guys talked about doing anything more with this data or bringing it to any of the other students in any of the other places to kind of, I don't know, bring it to life more than just in the Tableau?
my son, I have a 12-year-old, he has requested that he helps me turn it into a website. He's like, Mommy, is the data actually real? Because if it's really real, then we can turn it into a website and other people could use it.
I love it so much.
Yeah, he's
That's
got a
interesting.
really good brain for that type of thing.
Fantastic. Oh, I love that. That's a really cool idea. Okay, so the rest of you, if you're interested in having your stuff turned into a website, apparently Brittany's son is locked in and ready for you guys. All right. Well, that is all for us tonight. All of our teams. That last team is the Data Dogs with Brittany Krogsty, Ruth Timus, and then Patrick Valera, and who is on his break from work. Thank you so much, Patrick, for
Of course.
really taking out the time. I really appreciate it. Okay, so that's all with our presentations and teams tonight. We got to see dogs. We didn't get to see anything about goldfish, but there's always some wins and loses. So if you are watching, which I see some of you are on our YouTube, please don't forget to type in the name of your favorite team so we can count those towards our audience vote. And if you're a student of ours, keep an eye on the lookout in our Discord channel for the polls so that way you guys can vote there as well. So from all of us here at TripleTen, thank you so much for joining our January code pudding. Thank you to all of the students who really put in extra time and extra effort. It takes a lot of courage to come and show what you've been working on in a very compressed time frame while you're still doing all of the other life things. So thank you so much. I want to send a special thank you to all of the people behind the scenes that help make all of this work, which is, let's see, Arena, Omar, Alyssa, Elena, Olivia, Dennis, Arena, Nadia, and of course, my cat, who is adopted, Sharkbait, also domestic short hair. So, and not easy at all. Thank you again to all of you who are watching at home, and thank you to students as well who are watching this. My name is Tiffany Hall. If you need to find me, you could find me at Tiffany Codes on Instagram, and you could probably find my cat on the counter where he should not be. So if you're watching Sharkbait, get down. Thank you guys so much and have a great night.
Thank you.